We will configure one of the customizable GPIO ports as a logic input for a push-to-talk function for a paging station. Our hypothetical system design requires that a paging station located in the reception zone will be used for making paging announcements to the open office and cafeteria lounge zones. For our example, we'll be using Biamp's MicPAT-D, an analog all-call paging microphone. The microphone has a toggle switch for the push-to-talk functionality. When a logic output from the paging microphone is connected to a logic input on the QTX controller, the user of the microphone will be able to toggle a switch and mute background audio in the zones being paged to. The configuration of the logic input in the QTX web interface will also route paging audio to the zone selected. We'll configure this functionality on I/O1, so click the pencil icon for that port. The port can be configured either as a logic input for receiving a logic signal or as a logic output to send a logic signal. This function will be a logic input, so we'll leave the setting for input selected. The port function will be push to talk, so we'll select that from the drop-down menu. Next, we'll select the zones that will have paging audio routed to them. These will be the open office and cafeteria lounge zones. We'll then select our source for paging audio, which will be the paging audio source which we had configured earlier in the Audio Source tab. For more complex paging applications, priority levels can be set. The current priority is defaulted to 1, which is the highest priority setting. We'll leave this as is. The active low setting references the logic signal that the QTX controller will receive from the paging microphone. We'll want to select this as active low because the MicPAT-D paging microphone will output the logic signal when the contact closure, i.e. the toggle switch on the microphone, is closed. If the reverse were true, then the paging microphone would send a logic signal to the QTX controller when its contact closure was open. In that instance, we would configure the QTX logic input as active high by disabling the active low checkbox. This setting will be dependent on the device that is sending the logic signal to the controller. So please reference the appropriate documentation when interfacing any third-party devices with the GPIO ports on the QTX controller. Lastly, we'll click Save.